welcome to the new and improved Willamette Mall. After a 10-year-long renovation, the mall is finally reopened back to the public. We are ever so excited to show off all the improvements to our new mall. Why did it take 10 years to do this? Mind your business and step foot into the entrance plaza. Get a feel to the new upstairs, and then take a dive in our newly aquatic-themed Paradise Plaza. Stroll on over to the theater to watch a film. Make sure you get Mega Man merch on your way out. Afterwards, breathe in that fresh air in Leisure Park as you make your way to the food court. The food court. I said come get a bite of the food court. Okay, that's Paradise Plaza again. Can we please show the food court? No, you just mirrored the footage. Okay, do we have any other footage besides Paradise? Oh, no, you just want to ride on the fun side? Take the roller coaster in Wonderland Plaza. We even have clown entertainment for kids and adults to enjoy. Now, you might be wondering, with how much time has passed, have we added a new section to the mall? So come on down to Willamette, Colorado and explore our new mall today!
If you watched the older video that wasn't the Okie video on my channel, then you know I'm a big Deadrising fan. You'd also know that I was very excited for this remake, and now it's been a year since the remake came out. So, what do I feel about it? Well, I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's Deadrising. How can I not like it? That's not to say there's nothing negative I have to say. There's a few things, but generally I enjoy how it looks and overall feels. I mean, I 100% the game, so yeah. However, for those of you who didn't get a chance to play either version, indulge me as I break down the different parts of this game and see how it compares to the original.
But first, feast your eyes on my work.
You should come to no surprise that the story is pretty much bar for bar the exact same as the original. The dialogue to the missions, even the cutscenes are the exact same. I'm sure there's little differences that I just can't notice, but believe me when I say the story hasn't changed at all. I won't actually go into detail about the story, cause I want you guys to play for yourself. Or, I don't know, watch your ad Brad. In fact, I want to more so use this segment to talk more about the performances of the voice actors. From what I can tell, not a single person from the original game came back to reprise their roles, which is honestly a huge bummer, especially for Frank West himself. Terrence J. Rotolo, the original voice actor of Frank, made Frank into who he was, this cocky reporter who will get his scoop no matter what. The fact that he voiced Frank even in non-Deadrising games should tell you just how much people think of his voice. His new voice actor isn't anything bad by any means, and I do think he fits Frank's new look, which, believe me, I have my opinions on. However, it just sucks that they didn't even contact Terrence to try and get him to come back. And honestly, compared to the original, I can't say I really like any of the new voice actors at all. Everyone just sounds a little bit too stiff.
Okay, we'll have to talk about this later. You know how to use that gun?
I've never fired at a person.
They're all clearly trying, and it's not bad voice acting by any means. However, there's much less charm than the original cast. I don't know. It's probably my biggest complaint, to be honest. However, there is something I do like with these new voices that I'll get into later. For now, let's move on. Damn, Jesse, you look good in this game. Yeah, the game looks amazing. I think this was I think this is what most people were looking forward to when it came to this game. The graphics upgrade. OG Deadrising had its charm, and honestly, it's not a huge eyesore like other older games. But man, does this game look nice. Using the RE engine for this game was the right choice. From the atmosphere, the lighting, the characters, everything looks so refined. All the characters, except for a few, look really great in high res, and just about what I expect them to look like with higher detail. And man, the zombies look so damn good in this game. so many times that I just take a photo just to really take in these models. Like, fuck man, this game looks good. I'm someone who could care less about hyperrealistic graphics. Give me a good cell shader and you sold me. But sometimes I gotta appreciate it. And like, kudos for not skimping out on details. I fully expected things like gore to kind of be lightened here for graphic reasons, but nope. Still great and still detailed. And yeah, I've seen people nitpick online about the differences with these games, but to be honest, I don't care. Like, this game looks great. I can gush over how good this game looks, but we gotta move on. Let me just... Alright, Personally, gameplay was my biggest concern. Deadrising has a certain feel to it that can easily be messed up with modern day controllers or engines. But I'm happy to report that it feels like a Deadrising game. Definitely a bit different from the OG, but I chalked it up to different control schemes and engines. However, the charm from the OG gameplay is still there. During one of their streams talking about the game, the developers mentioned how they could have enhanced certain things from the original but chose not to, as they felt that it would make Deadrising kind of lose its charm. Like, yeah, thank you. That being said though, there are many little tweaks that I'm so grateful for in this remake. You can now move while aiming, which is crazy to me that wasn't the original. Weapons now have a clear durability bar instead of just simply flashing red. Autosave and checkpoints now exist, which I can understand some people not liking, but personally, I don't always feel like walking my ass back all the way to where I was in a game that doesn't have a sprint. And also, more importantly, the survivors are less fucking stupid. Yeah. Thank God. Their pathing is way better in this game, they're less likely to get stuck, and on top of that, there's a few new features with them. Some survivors have items that they like more than others. If you give them these weapons, they'll use them more effectively. On top of that, they talk a lot more about things around the mall, like items around the mall or PP stickers. Also, I talked about it in the original video, but there's stairs here now instead of a dumbass ledge. Thank God. I don't know how clear it was in the original video, because I refused to watch it again, but the main issue with this ledge was that survivors would always try to climb from the middle of it. Even if another survivor was in the way, this meant they'd shove each other until one of them could climb. And you can only imagine how annoying that is when you're bringing back a bunch of survivors at once. So yeah, stairs. Good change. Another new addition which I really like is full voice acting. When it came to the in-game dialogue, it was simply just text, but now it's fully voice acted. And this includes every survivor as well, which actually makes it the first time we hear Otis's voice.
I can't believe the manager went off the deep end like that. Freaky.
So yeah, a neat little quality of life change. Another addition is Frank's camera now has attachments you can find around the mall. I know not everyone cares about the photography part, but personally I enjoy it. Overall, I think the changes and additions do make this game run better. Does it get rid of some of the charm of the OG? I guess so, yeah, but it's not so bad that it makes me want to stop playing. But there are some things I want to talk about that were changed. So there are a few actual changes in this game, with a few that I noticed some people have gotten in arms about in this remake. One being about Cliff Hudson, a psychopath you fight in the game. Cliff is meant to be like a vet who's going through PTSD due to the zombies. The controversy, if you could even call it that, is that he doesn't mention anything about the Vietnam War no more. In the original, it was made clear which war he was part of, and he even calls Frank a soldier from Vietnam. However, in the remake, he just refers to him as a mole. That's it. Literally just a few line changes. Now, me personally, I don't think it's such a bad change. I feel like the main focus of Cliff should just be that he's a vet, not necessarily which war he was a part of. You still get the gist, and it's not like his dialogue is that different. Plus, they still keep the part about his family at the end, which helps you pity him a bit more. I think people are just being dramatic, to be honest. Another change that people were weirdly upset about is the erotic genre being removed from the game. So, in Deadrising, there's different genres your photos can be put under, depending on what's going on in the photo. There's horror, outtake, brutality, drama, and erotica. You can take a wild guess what you need to do to get that photo genre. Well, in any case, it's gone now, and for some reason, people were weirdly mad about it. Like, you see all of this, and your complaint is that you don't get rewarded for taking a photo of a character's ass. And like, it's not like the game punishes you for doing it now, you just don't get points for it. And aside from a mission from Kent, this doesn't affect the game at all. So, seriously guys, stop being gooners about it. Would you go away? Finally, the last big change is for everyone's favorite psychopath, Larry Chang, who got an entirely new design in this game. Which I think is understandable. The original design was a bit of a racial stereotype, and while these games never strayed away from stereotypes, this one felt a bit much. I mean, he has a damn Chinese tattoo on the back of his neck that says meat. So, anyways, they gave him a far more terrifying design.
A straight white man.
Okay, I believe he's still meant to be like Asian American, but I just wanted to make that joke. Now, there are actual changes to the map, but more so in the way of design. For example, Paradise Plaza has a more ocean sea vibe to it than the original, which I think looks really nice. The food court also has a much more dynamic lighting in there. I mean, to be honest, every area has a new, nice, unique vibe to them. However, there is one thing that doesn't give me a nice vibe. So, I've not so subtly been taking jabs at Frank's new appearance. And while I've warmed up to it over time, I still don't really like it compared to the original. I get that Frank is meant to be a more, like, sleazy version of himself. But jeez man, he looks like he aged 20 years. He looks closer to his off-the-record appearance, which was supposed to be like an old, washed-out Frank. I just can't really get behind it. It bothers me to no end that he's like the only main character who got a big redesign. Meanwhile, everyone else in this game looks pretty much how they look, just more up-res. Not to mention that you can look like the original Frank as a costume, so clearly they thought about keeping the original appearance. Look, it's a nitpicky thing. I just personally don't like the design. In general, most of my gripes come from like performances and appearance more than anything else. If I had to say anything negative about the gameplay, it would just be that default control scheme is really weird, at least compared to the original. Overall though, I still really enjoyed this remake. I'm sure someone more miserable than me can find more faults in it, and maybe I'm looking at this with rose-tinted glasses. But I think it's a fun game still, and personally, if you ask me which to play first, honestly, I'd say the remake. You should still definitely play the original, but for a more overall enjoyable experience, do yourself a favor and get the remake. I don't really have a way to end this video, so enjoy some random comparisons from the OG to the remake. Actually, I want to come in here now to give 2 shoutouts. First off, shoutout to jbat_1. He made this really cool model that I've been using now of this TV guy, and I think it's really cool. Yeah, I kind of plan on using like a TV model for a while before I got this one from him, but things didn't really work out, so now I'm using his model, which he made for me, so thank you to that. His Twitter's gonna be in the description. Apparently he doesn't really have any other socials in that, so yeah. I also want to give a shout out to MKG. He's my friend, and he's kind of the one who hooked me up with Jay, so shout out to him. Go check out his channel if you like FNAF stuff. He's a much more successful channel than me, so if you somehow found mine but not his, go look at him. Yeah. But yeah, thank you to both of them. I really enjoyed this model. Sorry this video was kind of short compared to my Doki Doki one, but there was only so much I can say about Deadrising, so yeah. Anyways, that's the end of me. Talk to you guys again next time.